Hello! Welcome to Tuesdays, GMAT Tuesdays that is, with Kevin. I'm Kevin, coming to you from Magoosh, and today we're going to talk about reading comprehension and specifically look at detail questions. We're going to kind of look at these at a very high level and talk about identification, strategy, which won't be too different than some of our other reading comprehension questions. And then also we'll end with common wrong answers. So let's dive right in. So actually there are some great clues in the question stem for identifying this question type. And it's really important to identify this question type because of the common wrong answers and traps that the GMAT leaves for you in the test. So anytime you see this phrase at the beginning of the question stem, according to the passage, you know you're dealing with a detailed question. Anytime you see indicates explicitly, sometimes it'll be the author, sometimes it'll be the passage, but explicitly is really a clue that something's been written in the passage. Here's another similar one. Passage mentions one of the following. And so that's going to tell you, detailed question. And then here's another example. Which of the following statements about something in the passage is supported by information in the passage? So we know that we're looking in the passage for our answer choice, or excuse me, for the answer. So I'm going to skip this and go straight to strategies. I hope you don't mind. So our strategy is similar to all of our other reading comprehension questions. You're first going to attack the passage, so dive in, figure out what the main idea is, get a sense of the flow of the passage, what's at the beginning, middle, and end, have a sense of the structure, and then think about the author's tone, purpose, when you're reading through. And when you read and attack the passage, you're really thinking about the big ideas in the passage. You're kind of avoiding these details. But you kind of want to just make note of what each paragraph or each section of the passage is talking about, so you have sort of a mental map of where to look when you research the passage. Your next step is to go and rephrase the question. That's when you'll read this and figure out it's a detailed question. There'll also be some clues as to where you should look for the answer in the passage. It might be a key word, it might be an idea that's discussed in a certain part of the passage. But there should also be something else besides these clues to tell you where to go do your research. And then finally, so now you're going to go and research the passage once you know you have a detailed question. And this question, more than any others, where you do need to dive back into the passage, because you did not a quick pass, but you went through the passage fairly quickly and weren't taking in a lot of the details. Now this is when you go do a close reading. You know what they're asking about. Go to the particular part of the passage and do a close reading. See what is being said there about the idea or the person or the theory or the example that they're asking you about in the question. After you've done your research, you want to anticipate an answer. So you're usually rephrasing what is written into other words. So think of synonyms, try paraphrasing it, because you're never going to find an exact copy of the passage in the answer choices. It's always going to be something that's been rephrased and reinterpreted. So anticipate an answer, rephrase it, put it in your own words so that when you go into the answer choices, you're ready for it to be a little bit different than it's written in the passage, but still adhering to the main idea that it's being discussed. Finally, the fifth step, as always, we eliminate wrong answers. It's better to think about wrong answers than right answers because there's more of them. So it's just easier to go through, eliminate the answers that are wrong, and then you'll be left with maybe two answer choices where you have to think real closely about which one is correct. Let's move on to common wrong answers. There's some really good traps that they leave for us in the passages, or excuse me, in the answer choices. One is an inference. They give us an answer choice, that's an inference. And the reason for this is twofold. One, they want to see if you actually know what type of question you're answering. There are inference questions out there, and if you think you're answering an inference question, then you'll see this answer choice and choose it right away. Make sure you know what you're dealing with, and then you'll see this inference, and then you can eliminate it without any problem. Another super common wrong answer is a distortion, where they're going to take an idea in the passage and twist it just a little bit. Sometimes this means that they're attributing an idea to one person when it's actually supposed to be attributed to another person. Sometimes it might be an example from the passage, but from the wrong part of the passage. And so basically it's taking information and changing it just enough to make it wrong. These are tough because oftentimes the very beginning of the answer choice will just read like it's the right answer, and you get to the last phrase and find out that it's wrong. So if a student isn't reading all of the answer choice, they might be tempted to choose a distortion trap. Finally, the other common wrong answer is unsupported or new information. Sometimes they just like to give us stuff that's quasi or semi-related to the passage, but is actually not discussed in the passage. It might be in the same realm, in the same universe, but a little bit off topic, or it just might be something entirely new. And so what you can see here is I put in some numbers and then a letter. So these numbers correspond to examples in the OG, so the official guide to the GMAT. This is the 13th edition, so if you have the 13th edition, go ahead and take a look. And you can see there's a lot of new examples, but this isn't all of them. And then these here are example wrong answers, or the common wrong answers. So you can go and look at those to get a sense of what these are like. All right, that's all I really have for detail questions. I hope you found this useful. I hope your studies are going well. Keep at it. I'm sure you're making progress. And if you have any questions or you need any help, please feel free to reach out. We're here to help. I'm here to help. And we're happy to help you along your path to GMAT domination. So this is Kevin from Magoosh, wishing you well. Be excellent to the universe, and I'll see you next Tuesday.